shake a stick at. But one that's caught our eye is this beautiful Guild 12 string. Nothing plays like a Guild. Have you ever played one? Go play one. Nothing plays like a Guild. And if you like that big fat body 12 string sound, this is the guitar for you. Starting with nice, good tuners, the beautiful Guild headstock. And look at this big body. Ain't she pretty? I don't know, it might break your heart when you find out how much it is, but until then, this is Dan, Barefoot Music News. Well, it's Dan again. We're in the Guild booth still. We found somebody to tell us all about this Guild 12 string. Not only we found somebody, but we found the product manager, Dave, who's going to tell us all about that beautiful guitar.
How you doing, guys? I'm Dave Gonzalez. I'm the product manager for Guild Guitars, and that beautiful 12 string that was being played earlier is our beautiful F-412 model. The 412 model is a classic Guild model. It was introduced in 1968. When it was first introduced, it was introduced as a sort of a special instrument that had to be special ordered. They didn't add it to the regular part of the line. It was kind of a fancy, upgraded model that you had to special order. But the demand was so high after a while that they added it to the standard line in 1974, and it's been in the line ever since. It's kind of become a staple in the industry as one of the greatest 12-string acoustic guitars out there, and one that a lot of other 12 strings are judged against, if you will. So that beautiful guitar has maple back and sides, and one of the unique things about that guitar that affects how it sounds and makes it so unique is that it has a laminated arched back to it, and that's a feature that it's had since the beginning. Guild started doing that on the F-50 jumbo models back in the 50s, and that came from Guild's history of building arch-top jazz-style electric guitars, which typically have that arched back to them. So that gives it a very unique sound quality, and it also helps project that sound out. The top on that model is made of Sitka spruce, and a unique feature about the top is that it is Sitka spruce, but it has Adirondack red spruce braces underneath it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and that really, what that does, you take that Sitka spruce and that Adirondack red spruce. The reason we're using Adirondack red spruce for the braces, Adirondack red spruce has a very high strength to weight ratio, and what that allows us to do is brace the guitar a little bit lighter, therefore freeing that top up a little bit more to vibrate, creating better resonance and better overall projection and sound out of the instrument. It also helps give it a little bit more robust presence, if you will. So this guitar,
I'm sorry, can you show us where the braces are?
Yeah,
it's hard to see.
They're right underneath the surface of the top. If you put your finger there, you can feel some of them. And you go in there with a little bit of mirror and a light, you can see them. But it's basically, there's some X braces that come across here, and then there's also some braces that fan out from there.
But they're fairly forward, giving a nice big sound for it.
That's right. And then there's two tone bars back here in the back that help support and also do affect the sound of the instrument as far as where those are placed, how big they are, how they're scalloped. So that's a very important part of the sound of an instrument. Not only does it help structurally, but it does affect how the instrument projects and how it sounds. So that's a pretty unique feature on this instrument. Some other things that are unique that help enhance the sound quality of it is the fact that it has a natural bone nut and saddle. It also has bone bridge pins, as you can see there. That's pretty important because when the strings are touching these components, they're transferring that energy into other parts of the instrument, and also transferring that energy from the strings into the sound box. So it has to be very efficient. It has to do a great job of transferring that energy in order to get a nice, clear, nice, warm sound out of it. So we feel that bone does the best job of transmitting that energy, as opposed to a synthetic material such as plastic or something of that nature. With plastic, you can tend to get some of the some harsh transients in there, maybe a little bit more trebly type sounds,
you know. A little tinniness that you don't want.
Yeah, a little tinniness. And
that's often a problem with inexpensive 12 strings, that they're tinny. This has that rich bottom end, and now we're finding out why.
That's right. All these things coupled together are what kind of, that's the recipe, you know.
Yeah, it isn't any one ingredient.
Right, right. It's kind of the sum of the parts that help to create that overall brilliant sound. But that's really important, those components, and sometimes people overlook those. So we feel that it's real important to provide the highest quality material material there for that tone transfer, and we use natural bone products for that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Now, structurally, we talked about some of this. We have like 1,200 pounds of pressure here, don't we not? 1,400 pounds of pressure?
There's a lot of pressure on a 12-string instrument. I don't know the exact in pounds, but I know for something of a 6-string guitar with say, a medium gauge string, you're looking at a significant amount of torque there. And then you got 12 strings on this guy, so it has to be, you know, it's a lot of pressure on the top and on the bridge, also on the neck.
Yeah.
So some of the things that we do to help combat that, especially in the neck itself, we have a single dual action truss rod that goes down the center, and on either side of that truss rod we put 2 graphite rods. They're very, very lightweight, but they're extremely strong. What that does is that helps to counteract all of that tension that's basically pulling that neck forward, because you know what you're doing here is you're attaching strings to the top, attaching strings to the bottom, and it's kind of pulling from both ends. And what it tends to want to do naturally is kind of go like this, you know, absolutely, from all that tension. So we help to combat that by constructing the neck in that manner, and also the bracing helps that, and a nice bridge plate underneath the bridge itself helps to combat against that as well.
Do the carbon fiber make it no need for adjustment, or there's still adjustment there if we need?
There's still adjustment there. There is a dual action truss rod that runs down the middle, so a dual action truss rod can be adjusted for forward bow as well as back bow, as opposed to basically it adjusts in 2 directions is what a dual action does, and the single action, of course, is just a one-way adjustment. So it's a little more precise, very accurate as far as making the tweaks on it. But no, you still can adjust the neck. Those rods just help to counteract all of that tension from the 12 strings.
And to be responsible guitar people here, we should say that's not something you should do yourself unless you really know what you're doing.
This is true.
You can really wreck a guitar with a simple truss rod adjustment. Less than 1/8 of a turn can really do some damage on certain guitars. So if you don't know what you're doing, have that done somewhere. One good reason why is if you break it, you got to buy another one. If they break it, they got to buy you another one. So think about that before you go messing your truss rod up. So now let's talk about what's new for 2011. I love the 12 string, so that caught my eye. But these are awful pretty over here.
Yeah. This is our new series that we just launched. This is our USA Standard Series guitars here, and that beautiful 12 string we were just looking at. That's a part of what we call our traditional series. Some of our classic Guild models, and that's kind of our high upper end line. These here represent sort of the next price segment down. Very affordable models, still made in the U.S. with premium specifications though. You see they look a little bit simpler than the stuff on that 12 string and some of the inlays and all of that nature, but they're still beautiful guitars that offer a lot of sound quality and a lot of premium features to them. So there's basically 6 models in the line, 6 types of guitars in the line. We have 2 dreadnoughts, one in a spruce rosewood configuration and one in a spruce mahogany configuration. We have 2 small body orchestras in the same woods. We also have a jumbo 12 string with Sitka top and mahogany back and sides, and then a jumbo 6 string with a Sitka top and the maple back and sides in the classic Guild format.
That is such a classic Guild shape, isn't it? How many shapes do we have all together?
Well, there's basically 4 shapes represented here. You got the dreadnought shape in both a standard acoustic and then in a cutaway version, of course, with a pickup in it. You've got the jumbo body, and then you've got your orchestra style here with the cutaway as well.
Just so beautiful.
Yeah, great guitars. And what these guitars also have, they also have the bone nut and saddle like we showed you on the last guitar, and the bone bridge pins for premium tone transfer. These have a little bit slimmer neck profile than some of our traditional guitars, so they feel a little bit different. They also have a satin finish on the back of the neck. That helps to give them sort of a broken-in feel, which makes them very, very comfortable.
Right from the day one.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the traditional series guitars have a gloss on the back, and it's great. It still feels nice, but the satin just gives it that more broken-in type feel. So that's a really nice feature on these instruments. And that little bit slimmer neck profile, some people really like. It offers excellent playability. So. And
although they're pro-quality guitars, this is more of your consumer line. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the price point on these is from?
In a store, you probably play anywhere from about $1,800 to about $2,200.
Which for a guitar of this quality is not a lot of money.
Yes, that's right. For a guitar that offers all of these types of features, it's
And backed by a guild.
Great value. That's exactly right. Backed by a guild. You get that great guild history and heritage behind it, as well as the great craftsmanship.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us. I love those guitars, and one of these days I'll have one.
My
you can
pleasure.
give me one if you want. I'll review one on the website.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for stopping by. We appreciate it. This has been Dave Gonzalez with Guild Guitars for Barefoot Music News.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks.